You don't need years of experience to get an NGO job. What you need is strategy. One of the most common questions I get is, how do I get an NGO job with no experience? You may be a student, you may just be a recent graduate, you may be running your NYSC program right now if you're based in Nigeria, or you may even be working in another sector or looking to pivot to the NGO sector. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a step-by-step roadmap on how you can break into the NGO sector with zero experience. I'm going to be sharing practical strategies you can start today and how to position yourself for real opportunities. So let's get in. Hi, my name is Veronica on Purpose. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am a career coach, and on this channel I share valuable information on how to grow and be better in your career purposefully. I also share valuable insights, opportunities and resources on how to transition to the NGO or remote working sector. So if this is what you're interested in, don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments so I can celebrate you, because you are now in the best days of your career. The first thing about breaking into the NGO sector is to understand what NGOs are looking out for. NGOs do not hire like corporate companies. They are not looking out for profit, for sales or corporate titles. NGOs are looking out for impact, communities, and donor outcomes. So when NGOs say experience, they are not looking for your corporate titles. They are looking to see things like volunteering, policy, advocacy, community engagement, research, data collection, outreaches, teaching, training, coaching, counseling, monitoring, evaluation, budget management, and so on. So even if you've been working in another sector, you've probably been doing these things, but it is just in a different terminology. So when you are coming to the NGO sector, you have to change the language to appeal to the NGO sector. This is the mistake most people make. So you come from where you've been counseling people, teaching and doing a lot of things, and you don't capture it as that in the NGO sector, you may not likely get opportunities. So whatever you have been doing from whatever sector you are coming from, you now have to make sure it aligns with NGO language. That is what they are looking for. The second thing you have to do is to build or transfer the relevant skills. Some of you may have been working as a nurse in the hospital. In the hospital, you may have been teaching, you are doing advocacy for your clients, you are counseling, you are monitoring, you are evaluating, you are reporting. But now when you want to apply for jobs in the NGO sector, you don't highlight all that. You highlight that you've been doing vital signs, you've been doing total nursing care. No, those things are great, but you have to align them with NGO language. Don't leave out these things you do that I have just mentioned. Or you probably are an accountant and you'll be managing budgets, but when you are applying for NGO jobs, you do not highlight budget management as a skill. No, you have to highlight that. You need to use NGO language. Or you are an admin staff that has been able to manage personnel, you've been able to manage projects, and you come and you just wrote administration on your CV, when you can highlight project management, personnel management in your CV. So these are the things that you need to do. You need to think of the skill you already have. If you're already someone who has experience working in a different sector, and how you can transfer them to the NGO sector. If you've been working in finance, if you've been working in data analysis, that's monitoring, evaluation, learning, you bring them to the NGO sector. If you're working in admin, you bring that to the NGO sector as well. As a healthcare professional working in the hospital, you've also trained other students, you've counseled your clients. Those are teaching, training, coaching skills that you transfer to the NGO sector. If you are not so sure of how your skills can be transferred to the NGO sector, probably you don't know where it fits in, you can go online and search, or you can also book a one-on-one clarity call with me and I will help you figure that out. By the way, if you want to book a one-on-one session with me, the link is in my bio. Now, if you do not have any experience or any transferable skill, or even if you have skill you want to add more, you will need to go learn the particular skill you want to leverage in the NGO sector. So there are many skills. There's project management, there's data analysis, there is advocacy and policy, there is gender, there is knowledge management and communications. I cannot mention all the skills because there are so many. So what you need to do is go online, search, do research. Some of us don't like to research. You can write down what relevant skills based on your field, maybe what you studied in the university. How can you use this in the NGO sector? What are the relevant skills you would need to acquire to add to this? And you will see results will pop up. Some of us don't want to spend money to improve ourselves or acquire a new skill. Some skills will not fall on your laps for free. You have to pay for the skill. So you can go on platforms like Coursera, like Allison or Udemy to learn some of these skills. Let me also plug you to a few NGO sites that offer free courses. Check UNICEF Agora, WHO Open WHO. Check UNITA, that is the UN Institute for Training and Research. You can also check the Global Health e-learning platform. These are platforms that are run by NGOs that offer some free courses, so you can start from there and then start saving money to pay for the skills you need to acquire. The third thing you can do is to create experience even without a job. Volunteer. Some people don't want to hear volunteering with their 2 ears. Please look for opportunities to volunteer. You can volunteer in your local church. You can volunteer with community groups. There are some community development groups that do outreaches, sometimes in your local community. Join them. There are also grassroots NGOs, they call them CBOs, community-based organizations, that go out to do different outreaches and projects. Join them, volunteer. And when you volunteer, document everything that you did. When you are documenting, document with data. Don't just say, I joined them to train children or I joined them to reach out to children. How many children did you reach out to? What was the impact? You reached out to street kids, and with the donation of relief materials, you got these street children to a shelter. That is impact. Another thing you can do with creating experience that most people don't know is to create a project by yourself. Yes, you can say, okay, I am going to create a project. The project can be reaching out to street kids. The project can be educating women in the community on maybe hygiene, their health, women empowerment. The problem is when people hear experience, they always want it to come under something that looks very structured. On your own, you can create a project and be very structured about it. You come up with a plan, identify a problem. Maybe the community is very dirty, and because of that, people fall sick easily. You can teach them about personal and environmental hygiene. When you teach them, you record how many people in the community did you teach? What was the impact of this teaching? Okay, after you taught them, they learned to keep their environment clean. And because of that, the prevalence rate of these illnesses reduced in the community. Before, when you go to the hospital or the community health center, you see that they have over 100 cases of diarrhea. But after you monitored in the last 3 months, you realize that the diarrhea cases have reduced by 20%, and you can attribute this to the teaching you gave them on environmental hygiene, which they implemented. You just created one world-class project that delivered results. But sometimes we're always sitting and waiting to work under a certain organization. Not that working under organizations don't matter as experience, they matter very well. But for you who doesn't have at all, you've not even heard from any other sector, start something small so that you can have what to even present. The next thing to do is to have an NGO-focused CV. Some of us make the grievous mistake, emphasis on grievous, to use a normal corporate CV to apply to jobs in the NGO sector. The ATS will just flag it down. That's for organizations that use applicant tracking systems. A human will not even see it first. The system will strike it off before somebody even gets to see it. you have to make sure that your CV is aligned with the NGO sector. It has to show NGO language. Remember the things I mentioned before: monitoring, evaluation, reporting, teaching, training, those languages. The best way to be able to know what to put in the CV is when you are applying for a job, don't use a generic CV. Don't use one CV to send 10 job applications. No, you look at the job description, you sit down and you make sure that the CV is tailored to suit the job description. You cannot make the job description to suit your CV, but you can make your CV to suit the job description. So that is what you have to follow. And when you are making a CV, show impact, data driven impact. I always emphasize on this: show numbers. You trained 100%, there was 20% increase in impact, and make sure that these numbers are true, because with NGOs you will defend your numbers. You will tell them how you arrived at that number. So don't just write numbers for writing sake. That is why I say, when you are on projects, when you are executing, when you are volunteering, when you are creating your own projects, follow the numbers. When you are teaching people on the street, count how many people. Before you put 20% increase, make sure you had a baseline. That's why I say first identify a problem. You identify that you've gone to the clinic for 10 times in a month and you have not less than 100 people presenting with diarrhea in the clinic. You've already captured a number as baseline. So when you now do your project and you see that, oh, after your project where you trained 100 people, you decided to visit the community health center again and you went there 10 times as well, and you saw that the number has reduced from 100 to 80. Aside the 100 to 80, not many people are coming down with that diarrhea again. You now check for other factors. Oh, is it that their water is now clean? Is it that there's no more rainy season? Those kind of things, you now know that, oh, this your training must have influenced this. And when you put this in your CV, when they ask you during interviews, you are able to say it confidently. Oh, that this is what I noticed was the problem. This is what I did, and I went back to evaluate the impact, and I saw that, oh, there was a 20% reduction. That is how you communicate with NGOs. Impact. So on your CV, make sure you show impact with numbers, not just I trained, how many, what was the result of this training. In the description of this video, I have added 2 CV samples for NGO sector, so you can use that to work on yours. One sample is for healthcare professionals and the other is for any other profession. I have also attached a cover letter sample for you to go through, and then you have an idea on how to craft an NGO cover letter. The next thing is to search for NGO jobs on NGO websites or sites that post NGO jobs. Sometimes you just go to any site and you see a job. Sometimes it can be fake. So you have to be careful where you are searching for jobs. Use platforms like Impact Pool, Relief Web, DevX, LinkedIn. You can also go directly to the NGO website. Search WHO website, search UNICEF website. Any NGO that comes to mind, search their website. I have a video that has 10 sites to find NGO jobs. You can click here to watch the video, or you also find it in the description down below. Follow NGOs on social media as well. They also post their job opportunities on their social media platforms. I also have a WhatsApp group where I share opportunities for NGOs. Not just opportunities, I also share resources to support people on their NGO career journey. So if you would like to be a part of this WhatsApp platform, you find the link in the description of this video as well. Come join us. We'll be glad to have you. Another thing to do is to position strategically. Some of us are neither here nor there. So there are different sectors within the NGO sector. There is education, there is agriculture, there is empowerment, there is gender, there is health. There are many areas within the NGO sector. So aside from job roles like finance, administration, where you don't necessarily need to have the technical skill in that area, you can work across board. You can work in finance in the agri sector, and work in finance in health, and work in finance in education. But when it comes to core technical skills or qualifications, like you are a healthcare professional, and then you start positioning for roles in education, agriculture, health, climate, people would think you are not serious, because you cannot be moving up and down like that when your skill or qualification is a specialized one. If it's one that is not specialized, they can work across board. But for you who may have a specialized qualification, stay within your field. You can move within projects but stay within your field. For example, I am a nurse midwife. I am stationed more in reproductive, maternal, newborn, and child health services. But because I am a health professional, if I want to even move a bit to other projects, I will still move to other projects within health, maybe non-communicable diseases. But to say I'll move from here to agriculture or to education, it doesn't sound right. If you're in other professions where you can move across different sectors, make sure that you still highlight your qualifications, except you actually want to transition to a totally different profession altogether. That's still fine. The next thing to do is to apply smartly. Some of us don't know how to apply for roles to break into the NGO sector. You've never had any NGO experience. Now, you don't even have an experience from another sector, but you are applying to a top level role. It's not possible. It doesn't make sense. NGOs like to see track record. Before you earn a very senior role, you must have grown from smaller roles. If you are breaking into the sector, don't start with those top roles. Start with entry level roles. Start with volunteering. Start with internships. That is how to break in. When you now break in, if you are coming from a very senior level, it's easier. Oh, they see that you have years of experience from another sector. You started small. In a short time, you are growing. Now, this is not ruling out the possibility that if you're already coming from another sector with years of experience, good years of experience, skill, and all that, you can actually get a senior level role if you position well. But if you have not had any experience at all, start with entry level. And like I said before, always tailor your CV to each job description. Don't use one generic CV to apply for all the jobs. You will not get it. Same thing with cover letter. Use a different cover letter for a different job. You don't use one. You just change the date, change the name of the organization, and just copy and paste. It doesn't work that way. Job descriptions are different. Job roles are different. So you have to tailor it to the particular role that you are applying to. From this video, you've learned to understand what NGOs are looking for, the skills that you need, how to create a job experience even with no experience, how to tailor your CV, how to apply smartly, where to find NGOs, and how to position yourself. With this, you can now create a personalized roadmap for yourself based on where you are going. This is just a generic information. Now you can use this information to create your own roadmap depending on your qualification, your profession, and the NGO sector you want to work in. You can now highlight the skill you will acquire. You can now highlight the experience you need to gather. But then if you don't still know how to figure it out and you think that you need help, that's where I come in. I can help you tailor a roadmap to yourself. I offer a one-on-one career clarity session, especially for those who want to break into the NGO sector, and it comes with a CV review. If you'd like to have a one-on-one session with me, you'll find the link in the description of this video. Click on it and book a session, and I can't wait to talk with you. If you found this video valuable, help me to reach the many other professionals that need this valuable information. Kindly hit the like button, leave me a comment and tell me what you learned from this video and what area in the NGO sector you want to break into. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is totally free. You can also take a step forward to share this video with a friend or two. Remember this, you are not too small to do big things. Thank you and see you on the next video. Bye.